Hey, so if you're depressed, there's probably a few reasons for that. I'm going to tell you from my experience how to stop being depressed. So it's a very simple video, and if you stick with me, I'll tell you exactly what I found. So the first thing is, when you're depressed, usually it's because you're doing things every day that keep you depressed. And it sounds kind of counterintuitive because you think the depression is something out there that's kind of, you're the victim of something that's making you feel this way. Usually that's not the case. In the vast majority of cases, usually it's stuff you are doing to yourself that keeps you depressed and feeling that way. So, so then that's good news, because that means you can stop doing those things, or at least change those things one at a time, slowly, and then eventually, give it some time, keep doing it, and you'll rise out of depression. Now, you're going to say probably something to do with like brain hormones and neurotransmitters. I've looked a lot into this, and I mean a lot. So firstly, there's a huge load of side effects and bad things associated with altering your neurochemistry with a supplement. So I would not recommend that. However, I'm not going to talk about supplements. I'm going to talk about actions, things you can do. So your brain chemistry when you're depressed is obviously different to when you're happy. I'm not denying that. But what I am saying is that you, by doing different things, you change your brain chemistry, which changes your depression. Okay. So an example is, let's say your circadian rhythm. Okay. We know that if we don't get enough sleep, we become depressed and sick. It's a very reductionist way of saying it, but that's true. Okay. So therefore, you should at least try to improve your sleep. And you might think, well, it's this big task. It's hard to do. Okay. Yeah, it is a big task. So you break it down into the smallest possible actions. Okay. Things you could do that you're not doing. Even just waking up 5 minutes earlier per day. Even turning off your screens an hour before bed. Even avoiding caffeine after lunch. These are things that everybody could do. And they're very small actions, very tiny things that you can do in your own home. You don't need to buy anything. You don't need any therapy to do this. You can just literally do it. But most people do not. And so they keep themselves, by keeping themselves in this situation where you're sleeping badly, that doesn't help. And in fact, that keeps you depressed. And it's just one thing, right? It's just one thing you could change. Another one, very important, is the people you hang around with. Usually, we're pack animals. Like I've said this before, we're pack animals. So we hang around with people who feel and think like us. That can be a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing, because if you hang around with people who are also depressed, then of course you will keep each other depressed, right? It's exactly the same way if you then hang around with people who are not depressed. Pretty quickly, it rubs off on you, and you start to bring yourself out of the depression. And then finally, there's another aspect to this, which is to do with holding patterns and neurological traps. So when the body is depressed, the word depression means you're compressed and condensed down into a small version, right? Mentally, of course, but I'm talking physically as well. So then the solution, or one part of the solution, is to then open yourself up, right? Go the other way. So vibrate, jump up and down, bounce, run, move your body physically, dance around, do some rebounding, and, hang upside down. Just shake your body up, basically. Just change your holding patterns. Just imagine you're just grabbing yourself by the shoulders and just shaking yourself, almost like you're shaking yourself awake, right? And you can do this in different ways. You can do like ecstatic dancing, where you just dance randomly, however you feel like dancing. You can do drums, you can do bouncing, you can pound your chest, you can like press, do tapping like this, like press on your chest and neck, and just really just shake your body up, just shake, almost like you're shaking yourself awake. Really powerful. And then another thing is just to not be so hard on yourself. It's a crazy world. There's a lot of polarity, a lot of bad things going on. Yeah, I get that. And it's usually stuff we can't really control. Things we can't really do anything about. So we should try and have the wisdom to remember that and not beat ourselves up about stuff we can't control. It's just the way it is, Another part of this is that usually when you're depressed, you kind of keep yourself in that state. A very easy way to start getting out of that is to remember what you love doing. The things you truly love that make you really happy, and then just do more of that. And then the things that you don't love doing that make you unhappy. The people, specifically the people. If you hang around with certain people and you find you always feel worse afterwards, stop hanging around with those people. Literally, like today, just stop doing it. Stop messaging them. Stop meeting them if they're making you feel worse. And it's very simple. Nobody, for 99% of people, nobody's forcing you to hang around with people that make you feel worse. Nobody's forcing you to watch movies that bring your energy down and make you scared. Nobody's forcing you to stay up late and ruin your sleep and then bring your energy down. Nobody's forcing you to do that, really. And if you really take a step back and think about it, you're doing that to yourself, and these are things that you can control. Even if you start with one thing, just start with one, right? Wake up 5 minutes earlier, or stop hanging around with, Dave or whoever is keeping you down, right? Stop going to the pub and gossiping and complaining, you know, getting together with a group of friends and just complaining about situations. Stop doing that, right? That's only making it worse. And, you know, it might be difficult at first, but everybody has one action, one tiny thing they can do that will improve their lives that they think is too insignificant to do. And that's the trick. It's not insignificant because it's the first step. So just do that step today, like now, today, and then see where that leads you, because then it will lead to the next step.